So now I get to tell you about my life. Here I go. So again, this has been just a real honor to celebrate this day, and it comes with a lot of happiness and a lot of wonderful comments that you've shared with me, and a lot of sadness and tears too, because this has been a home for us, and you can see these ministry years that we've been here, 04 till today, and we've we really raised our family here, and we were missing Andrew today because Andrew is back in Nashville on a trip, but everybody else is here, so we're so glad. Once they get this age, you never know how long you're going to have with them before they go here, there, and everywhere, but we've been blessed to have just a real home. This has been a home for us, both physically, obviously, living here in this community and here with the school and church, but spiritually, it's been a centering place in the Word of God and worship. And with all of you as brothers and sisters over, I see different pockets of life, from years ago to real current to today. And some of you I've just known for a few months, and others it's been 14 or plus years since we even were here during my internship year in 93, 94. So just looking back on that, that's a pretty long span of time. So I'd like to do this. I'm just going to have some fun with this, and tell me if I didn't explain it well enough, or ask a question or something like that. But I'm just going to go through these. So I think I showed this earlier. This was a picture of our kids. So this was right when we moved to Aliso Viejo, Laguna Woods area, and it was the Christmas picture everyone has at least one of around here near the Montage Beach area, right in Laguna. So that's our kids when we just moved here. Megan was going into 5th grade. Josh was going into 2nd grade. Andrew was going into kindergarten, and Caleb was a year old. Am I right on that, Sarah? Okay. And now Caleb will be a freshman in high school. So he's spent really all that he remembers, of course, of life has been here. So. And again, I'm going to throw in about 75% of the pictures will have something to do with the beach or water. So these are just random pictures. I just want to start with our family of some years, some vacation times, and again, just thinking about how this place has meant so much to us together as a family. And that was just a week ago, wasn't it? That was a week ago when we announced to the church that we were going to be moving to Oregon, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So looking back, so that was a picture. I had a similar stage picture like that taken on my final little Saturday surf beach day. But I don't know, it kind of is one of those places for me when I go to the beach where I can just kind of relax and look out on the horizon and not have any other worries or concerns that we all have. But it's just that place that kind of just frees my mind and gets me energized to jump right back in. So I'm sure we all have those things, whether it's a hobby or some kind of biking or hiking, some kind of activity. But it's just been good to pause and think back to, I'll show you just some of my life in ministry years. So here we go. That's an old blast from the past with Pastor Bill, 93, 94. So this guy even had hair back then. Yes, I did. And then Megan was baptized in January of 93, born in December, or January 94, I guess she was baptized, so that might be an error. But, and that was, I think, at the end of our internship time with Pastor Bill and Cindy and the congregation. And so you finish seminary, and then you have last year's school, and Pastor Leland and I, we met actually at Lutheran Seminary, Marcia, Emily, Jonathan, you guys were all there, living in one of our married student apartment housing units, and we got to know each other through that time, and Bible study, men's group together, and we've shared about that over the years, I know, but it's pretty neat how God brings you together, and you never, when you're brought together in the Lord, you never stay far apart for long, maybe physically, but it's like when you connect with someone, think about a Christian friend that you've had over the years, even if it's been 20 years, you feel like you're picking up right where you left off. And I know that's going to be the case, isn't it? Just whenever we meet up as pastors and friends, we have those common ties, don't we? And so this was my ordination picture. So after finishing seminary, you get a call to serve a church. First you're ordained at your home church. So that's my dad, Les Foss. And we're going to be about an hour and a half from my parents in Longview, Washington. So that's going to be really nice to be back with them in their very later years of life, too. And there again, a couple pictures at the church, the ordination. The first church I served was in Hawthorne. Where's Bill Perry? I know he's here, Bill and Pat. So I don't know if we have any other Hawthorne natives, but Bill and Pat were at that church in Hawthorne many years ago. You were gone by that time when I came, obviously. I didn't run you off, did I, when I came in 96? No. Okay. So another picture of those pastor years. And then from there, after 4 years as an associate pastor, so get a glimpse of pastor life. Oftentimes, I know Leland's bucked this trend too, but oftentimes 4 or 5 years, you're on to another place. And this was in Bremerton. We were there in Seattle area for 4 years. And again, that's where, let's see, at that time, we had 3 of our children, Megan, Josh, and Andrew. They were all born when we were in California. And then Caleb was born in 2003 when we were up there in Bremerton. So he was our next addition to the family. And this is a picture, I think that was the day that I arrived there and they had, or the installation with my sister and family. They're actually in Oregon as well. They live in Pendleton. They're the ones, I guess, on your left. And then my other sister, Amy, my parents. So it's going to be nice to reconnect with them. And then, okay, so then this was actually the installation service bulletin, wasn't it? Can you kind of see that picture? Black and white. I remember, this is kind of a funny story. They had the pastor, they always have a pastor from the larger church that comes, and I was supposed to have these items here, and one of them was, and help me out, Leland, you remember this. We were supposed to have a baptism font, and we still have that portable baptism font, but something weird happened where we didn't have the water, and I was scrambling, running around, and I don't know. It was funny at the time. Sorry, I don't even remember it. It just was a weird thing. And there's some of the pastors again that were there. There's Pastor Bill, Larry Becker, the pastor I worked with in Hawthorne, my dad, and that was a special day, right when we started here. And then Pastor Kurt came along, another one of those pastor friends that we've connected over many, many years, Bible school. You've known him too, Leland. And was that your rabbit ears or Kurt's? I can never tell. I think they're Leland's. Okay. You can't really tell because either of them do that often. Oh, man. And another one of our favorite moments, isn't it, Pastor Leland, as pastors, when we have the baptisms in any way, whether they're at church or at the beach. Those were like highlights as we did that. How many years were you doing that? End of September? Many. And never forget, I look out and I see plenty people that either were there or even that had the privilege of baptizing. And so this was interesting. You never know who you're going to run into. Anybody know who that is? So Colin Powell. And that was a memorial service that was for one of our members that was, I think, related in some way to Colin Powell. And so anyway, I guess I saw that and I threw it in. And then this is Caleb's awesome experience. So Caleb went all the way through preschool and then ABCS all the way through. So I don't remember all your teachers. Caleb, who are some of your teachers? And Patrick, you guys were classmates. Same. So Miss Nancy, who's been there forever. Who else? Preschool. Miss Lisa, Miss Debbie, and Elijah, you stand up. Were you also in preschool at the same time? Stand up. Stand up, Elijah. Look at these 3 boys back here. All going into high school now. Same age, all the way through ABCS together, and now they're in high school. So good friendships, huh? Over those years. Very cool. Okay. And more of those. I think that was at our home. I don't remember what that was, but hey, always fun to get our families together. And then Megan, our daughter, Megan's here, of course, today, and going to be living in Costa Mesa, right, Megan? All set, all ready to launch off on her own in that way. But we did a lot of music together when I was in Bremerton. We'd sing together in our little worship team in that little church. And so there were a few times that we got to lead worship together here too, didn't we? So that was always very, very special. And then all the ABCS cool connections. And I apologize, I wish I would have found more pictures, but was this your kindergarten, graduation, Caleb? Do you think? Is Elijah there too? I don't know if we see Patrick there, if you guys are, well, you're probably all together somewhere, but anyway, it was always a privilege to serve. How many here have had an AVCS connection through a child or teaching or something? How many of you? Raise your hands through all your AVCS people. Isn't that awesome? I mean, just here in this group here, all people's lives have been touched. So we've been so blessed by this place, teachers, staff, friendships that have formed that have just been going to be forever. So another one from the past, Dave Avname. Oh, wow. What? Dave wrote that? I didn't see that. How did that get there? I didn't do that. Okay. I know you think you got rid of me, but I'm back. Well, sort of. You built amazing ministries at both the church and AVCS. Even though I'm no longer here, I'm sad to see you go, but happy for you, this next chapter in your lives. I wish you all the very best in your new endeavors. Please stop by and see us. May God bless you all during this time. And wow, I don't know. That's a pretty cool card to get right there in real time. Dave had some very serious brain surgery. We didn't know if he would make it, and many of you know the story of Dave and his family, but wow, what an amazing guy. And he still helps us to this day, even though he's in the Bay Area now. What are you guys, Josh is back there doing all our sound stuff. Josh has been doing that for years. Thank you, Josh. And you communicate with Dave, with Dan Olson, all the ways the stuff gets recorded out and sent out. We've got a great team all over the place, right, Dan? People are doing this, and I think Dave still does some of the technical work to get it produced. So if you ever watch a video of our sermons, he's had the final hand in it, right? He's watching. Hey, Dave, where's the camera? There it is, right there. How you doing? Thanks for the nice card, and we miss you, and I hope to see you. Wow. And then, okay, the Country Pickers, right? Was that our name? And all those crazy carnivals we've had over the years, the Hallowed Eve and Carnival, and wow, fun memories. And this was the birthday celebration. So who all has ever had a birthday donut at AV over the years? Woohoo! Birthday donuts, don't let those go. Birthday donuts, second Sunday of the month. So September is going to be here before we know it. But this was, again, that fun celebration. Family campouts. Now, this was another thing that we've done for several years, that somebody's got to keep the torch, carry the torch. Becca's got the campout torch. Okay, done deal. You heard it here. So good memories. There's some of the guys out by the fireplace. Last time we had a campfire and s'mores and all that hot chocolate, all that good stuff. But I'll miss these guys and all those good memories. How about Forest Home? Who's done the Forest Home? Either camp as a student or family camp. How many Forest Homers we got here? All right, isn't that a great place? And I know, Pastor Leland, you guys just got back from Mount Hermon. We've got some solid Christian camps and right in our area for kids, individuals, as well as families. And we can't say enough. I mean, we've had groups that come up to Forest Home and as our family camp emphasis over the years, and touched our family's heart. It has, so. Walk for Water. Who's a Walk for Water? I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep having you raise your hands. Okay, that'll be my last one. But those, again, I think about the service opportunities that we have through our church, the compassion ministries. Scott's been a huge part of that. Jerry and missions and Tracy Watt. I think Tracy's here, isn't she? Where's Tracy? I saw her. Maybe she had to go. There she is. All right. All you guys, I mean, it's just, I could keep naming names, but the heartbeat of ministry and missions is something I'm never going to forget, and I'm always going to be touched by wherever I go. How this place has reached out both close by as well as literally to the ends of the earth. I mean, how many different trips outside of even the orphanage in Mexico have we been on here? I mean, I was on one to Slovakia. Pastor Leland, you've been on numerous trips to, you guys have been to Czech Republic, Uganda, Bolivia, so Brazil? No, Bolivia. So we're going to keep that in. And the church I'm going to has a similar heartbeat. So then there's the beach church. Again, I'm not going to keep making you raise your hand, but the beach church on Easter Sunday, that was a relatively new thing that we've been doing for past 3-4 years. So somebody going to keep that going? Okay. How about Roger? Roger, you going to keep that going? Okay, excellent. So good memories of, again, ways that we connect with people. Sometimes just strangers would come, people from both campuses. And I don't know, for me, I can't think of a better way to start Easter Sunday than worship. And then, okay, I got to ask, how many veterans do we have of the Easter plunge? Who's ran into the cold Easter water? Okay, I had to ask that one. So, good memories, again, of these places and people. Another just pastor and family that have touched our hearts, many of us over the years, Nathan Hoff, Nathan and Joy, a former pastor that Sarah and I have known. Sarah's known Joy since what, 70s? I mean, right? You've known that family and all the connections we have in the Lord and through our churches. They're wonderful connections. And of course, there they are again, Pastor Bill, Nathan, and the connections we have together. Now, where's Gina? Hi, Gina. I hear you might say something later, so thank you for being here. But this has been one of the newest ministries that our school and church have really embraced lately that just, are incredible. The Our Father's Table ministry to the homeless in our area, our whole families embraced that, enjoyed that together, school kids, and I just love being there whenever there's an event. Gina calls, and if I'm able to clear my calendar to be at a prayer for a dinner that they're doing in Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter, those have been just really special to me. So thank you, Gina. Thanks for being here. There's that kid again, Caleb. He's got all the recent pictures, Caleb. See, I couldn't find all the old ones of Josh and Megan and Andrew because who knows where they are. But we don't have all the young pictures of Caleb because he was the fourth and we just didn't keep them all as we did with the first kids. You guys know this. Your first kids have all the pictures, right? Emily Lance has got all the pictures, the baby pic. Well, there's two of you. Anyway, so there's Kurt. Good old Kurt. Kurt is in Minnesota right now too, leading a church in the Twin Cities. And who's this guy? Where's Mark? Is he taking a break? He's had a long day. There he is. Now, Mark has been a real godsend for my life, and I know for this church, I pray for years to come. Mark, this was the Teen Challenge Ministry Institute graduation just a couple months ago, and I can't say enough of how grateful we are to God for you and keeping this torch going as we continue with worship and praise and blessing other people. So thanks, Mark. That was an honor. Several of us got to be up there for your graduation, and that was an incredible moment. And keep the faith. Keep doing that ministry you're doing. Oh, there's Caleb again. See, we don't have any. But again, I guess just to come back to that AVCS connection, and that was he's one, we just prayed for him, and his birthday's today. I know we had a little prayer and birthday song for you, Caleb, but we just trust all the best as you make a big transition to a new high school starting up real soon up in our West Side Christian High School. So that's going to be and for all I think I've shared where everybody else is at too. Think about the body of Christ in all its fullness, and we've experienced that through our church. And this is a National Day of Prayer, one year that several churches coming together, nationalities, backgrounds, denominations. And do you think the Lord's pleased when people come together in Jesus' name, letting all those dividing lines that separate people all too often, even in the church? Again, and we pray for Pastor Freddie. He's made a good recovery now from, was it a stroke that he had too, right? And I don't know where these other brothers are now, but they've served churches faithfully too. And And again, here's another glimpse. This was, wait a minute. This was Roger's ordination, right, Roger? Here's your brother wearing the cool stole there. I think I lent him. He didn't come from Portland. He's up in Portland too. Roger, your brother, is a pastor of a Presbyterian church in the Portland area, not far from where I'm going. And again, connections all over the map. Tracy, we're glad you're here. And we wish Ken could be here. Ken's serving a church in Westminster. And I kind of half expected he might show up. Is it possible? Or is that a secret? Okay, no. But again, look at this group of crazy pastors, both from our church and connections over the years. So we've been blessed to have many partners in ministry. Oh, there's Greg. Hey, Greg, you here? Anyway, all these good friends and connections through our church and school. And I just, as I was coming through pictures, I had to put these up. Troy, again, praying for him, a man that his kids went to AVCS, and we haven't seen each other for a few years, but after his stroke, wanted to make it a point to see him and pray for him, and just heard from Yetta that progress is going on. I heard from her today, but not as fast as they'd like. So please keep praying for Troy. It's moving along. And that was just, I think, the final Sunday when I was at Laguna Woods. And just, that was kind of a picture, if you remember the pictures a few slides ago with our family and Pastor Bill, is about in that same spot was our last Sunday at Laguna Woods. And so I wanted to capture a picture with Pastor Bill and I. And okay, a few more slides of baptisms. There's the Highlands, good memories at the beach. And youth group, we know that it's in good hands. Miss Becca, that was one of our first Becca youth group fun pictures. Rosie, aren't you in that picture? Oh, okay. Other good times with our youth group. Blessed to have Josh and Megan helping out over the years too with our youth group and youth ministries. Oh my, wait a minute. I didn't put that one in. Did I? Okay, surprise additions. Oh, wow. The Pilgrim. And let's see, what do I have to, Native American? Yeah, leave it. No, we had a lot of fun doing our Pilgrim Indian Thanksgiving fun stuff here, as well as at the preschool. And yep, another beach picture. Sorry, got to keep those coming. And oh yeah, the Schaffnitz family, I know they couldn't be here. They're still on a trip, but go back to that one. That's just a great memory. There was Josh and Andrew also with them, but some of you know Will and Charlotte. Megan is actually taking care of them as she does childcare for them. But that was another family that really touched our hearts. As many of you know, Regina's husband Stu passed away several years ago from cancer, and you know, by God's grace, they've continued just to live and work and school and church and all that. But just amazing how people touch your lives and touch your hearts. And even through tragedy, God's good. And we had some fun beach days with that family. Okay, more beach pictures. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so, and Tyler, remember Frozen Day in Oceanside? I just got to go back to that one. There was a picture of Tyler and I don't know why we even went out in the water that day. It was like about 50 degrees. It was freezing, and New Year's Eve. And we caught like one wave and then went and had breakfast at Mary's in Oceanside. Remember that? That was a good breakfast. Bad surf day. Okay, so back to the ministry that is close to many of our hearts, to the Foundation for His Ministry Orphanage, and many trips I can't even count. This was our latest one with work projects and one from a few years ago with giving little piggyback rides, capuches to the kiddos, and just hanging out with the kids and the families and the workers there at the orphanage. And we always would close it, let's see, with the beach trip and the beach little event on the last day before we'd leave. So our men's ministry here and at Laguna Woods, we've tried to just keep going, both on Wednesday mornings with the devotional with the men here. And I know Pastor Leland, you and Pastor Ron have kept the Saturdays going there at Laguna Woods. And we had a recent one we did here at AV with our men's ministry with Dave Lara, a dad from school. And good stuff. Men's Cali Retreat, that was in 1 year. And there's Pastor Ken and a few others. Let's see, is that Scott and Tom Hand? And just good memories. So here's the next venture, the next ministry that we're off towards now at Wilsonville, Oregon. God knows the future, but that is where He has placed us now at Community of Hope. It is a Lutheran church. Interestingly enough, I told the Lord, I'm done and I'm moving on when our church jumped into the Lutheran Congregations and Mission for Christ ministry, which we've loved and enjoyed. But I'm going back into a church that has its letters are the ELCA. And if you know the letter mumbo jumbo in the Lutheran church, I'd never dreamed in a million years that I'd go back into an ELCA church. But just to cut the conversation short, it's be assured, it's a Bible-believing, solid church. I've met the pastor there several times now, and God is going to lead them, and I believe God's calling me to they couldn't find a pastor. They had to jump into a different Lutheran body to find the pastor that would be right for their congregation. And God's beyond denominations. God's beyond all the borders and walls we put up, like I said. But if the focus is on Jesus, the centrality of Christ, and the Word of God, and I believe God will lead us through whatever could be some maybe challenging times, but he'll be there. So pray for me and our church, our new church ahead. And so just some glimpses of the church. And I got to make cotton candy there a couple weekends ago when I had the final meet up with a lot of people. And they were doing a community fair where they were just handing out cotton candy and promoting their vacation Bible school. They did the Shipwrecked Bible School. And there we are with some of their leaders in their church. I'm wearing the Hope t-shirt. So it's, oh yeah. And then there's Voodoo Donuts in Portland. Anybody been to Voodoo? Weird place. That's weird Portlandia. You got to know the culture. Why? And the donuts are donuts. I'm not really a big donut fan, but you just got to experience it. And then here's one of my favorite spots I know my family puts up for me. I always try to get to Sawdust on the free Sunday nights for local residents, so I might be there tonight. I don't know. But we're going to hopefully get that van working and drive the Sawdust van all the way to Oregon. Fit right in. No, but definitely, as that was just a snapshot, I know, of many other people and ministries, but we will miss you and miss this beautiful place. It's like an oasis. The first time I got here in 2004, I thought about the school and the church, and it's just like an oasis of God's love in the middle of all the crazy lives that we lead, not just here, Portland, everywhere, but this place was always just that place that felt like home, that was, people were, here for a common purpose, Christian education, worship, ministry, Bible study, and it will continue to be, I know, I pray, for God willing, for many, many years to come. And God raises us up. He's raised up leaders here over the years. He's raising up leaders in his church in Wilsonville, Oregon, and that's the constant in the midst of change. God's faithful, and it's just, again, touches my heart to be a part of this day, to have the bittersweet joy and tears, but to know that, as believers in Jesus, we're home, right, wherever we go. And we have a future home with the Lord that it will be unending whenever that day comes. So we never say goodbye, we just say, see you later. And we will have that home, eternal home together. So thanks for hearing a little bit of my story and letting me go on and on as pastors like to do. And again, thank you. Thanks for your prayers.
Well, I'm always grateful to be here, and I'm going to try not to cry, but I can't promise that. This church has been a home for me and for our Father's Table. We've been part of LCC and the AV and the other campus since November 2014 when I met Pastor Leland because of Chris, who passed away. And a lot of our volunteers also are members of this church. We've been blessed all the way around. This is really part of our home. We met Pastor John pretty close after that, and he's the kind of guy that when you need something, you call him, and he finds a way of making it happen. So whether it's a baby being born and we're looking at trying to baptize the baby, Pastor John's like, we'll figure it out. Whether it's somebody very dear to our family who is experiencing homelessness, who passes away, and we're trying to get a memorial service done, he's like, I'll be there. Let me know when. We have 3 times a year where we celebrate picnics, and they're really holidays. So it's Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And Pastor John's always been there. I think you've missed one. Don't apologize. But I think it was one that he missed. But when he started to come, and the family would come too, and it was always such a great experience. One time you came and there was music and you brought your guitars. But when he started to come, it was really just to say a blessing before the meal. And the Lord started putting it on my heart that he should really be doing more. He has this amazing ability to connect to those that are living on the street. Without any kind of peer-to-peer related experiences that usually most of us need to kind of really be able to touch people that are living on the street, he has the ability to touch them at their hearts, to the point when Easter would be coming around, we'd be letting people know, hey, we're going to be doing Easter again. They're like, is Pastor John coming? And these were our folks that lived on the street. They always looked forward to Pastor John being there. They always hoped that he would be there. They always asked if he was attending. And he really made a huge difference in their lives. You did. You touched their lives. They're going to be saddened to hear that you won't be there at Thanksgiving. We'll have to videotape something and send it to me so I can show it to them. There's always a workaround. But you touched their lives. You touched, and I know that they have touched your life. They are better because they have known you. I am better because I have known you and the family. And I wanted to give you something that would kind of represent your time that you shared with us. And typically people do plaques and recognition, and that's not our Father's table. We're warm and fuzzy. We're like down the grassroots kind of family oriented. So instead of doing that, we have these wheels, I guess you could call, that are that we created last year. And I've added, this is my personal one. I wanted to give you my personal one. And I've added some other names to it this morning. So if you would give me a little bit of time, I would really love to read through each of these names, because each of these names you have touched and you've been a part of their lives. So each of these names I'm reading are people that used to be homeless that are no longer, that Pastor John has touched. The first one is Chris, which you didn't know, but that's what brought us together. Irene, John, Robin, Todd, Nancy, Robert, Adrian, Jeff, Kevin, Jerome, Douglas, Teresa, Elisana, Leanne, Brian, JB, Jeffrey, Russ, Francis, Rodney, David, Douglas, Paul, Julie, Bobby, Teresa, Richard, Jillian, Maria and her 3 children, Timothy, RJ, Richard, Teresa, Oklahoma, Jorge, Timothy, Michael, Leanne, Bill, Scott, Joseph, Codis, Amanda, Danielle, Craig, Christian, Virginia, Charlie, Pablo, Chris, Kim, Emily, Marjorie, Suzanne and her 2 kids, Jonathan, Christopher, Kevin, Larry, James, Bruce, David and his son, Anthony, Gabriel, Randall Lee, Cedar, Scotty, Eric, Jocelyn, Jose, John, Twyla and her 2 kids, Joseph, Jordy, Jonathan, Alana and her daughter, Hilda and her 3, Jillian, Jeff, Mike, Dorothy, Daryl Lee, Linda's son, Ron, Zane, Paul, John, Delana and her 2, Jill, Michelle, Cliff, Rob, Brandy, Jerry, Marcia, Hayden, Johnny, Shelley, Zoe, Cindy, Carrie and David and their 6 children, Andrew, Danny, Lisa, Brian, Veronica, Michael, Lexi, Stan, Joshua, Kenny, Hannah, David, Larry, Angie, Mark, David, Donna, Tommy, Michael, Jonathan, Jose, and Emmanuel. So on behalf of all 145, and there was additional names that have passed away that you've also touched, and the board of directors and our volunteers, some of them are here with me today. Thank you for everything you've done. We wish you nothing but the best. We will be praying for you every day, for you and your family. And we're, like I said, better for knowing you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina, for coming today and bringing us that beautiful send-off for Pastor John. And Pastor John, I want to share one of my favorite Bible passages with you all that I think is pertinent for today. You've all heard it quite often. But this is Pastor John's favorite Bible passage. Yet to all who, I can't see it on that one, okay. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. So I asked Pastor John what his favorite passage was today so we could let that live on through our lives as well. And so as a parting few words for you, Pastor John, for myself, I would like to leave you with Philippians chapter 1, verses 3 through 6 that we both use quite often. I thank my God every time I remember you. In all my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. And I say that with all sincerity for you, Pastor John. We've had a wonderful partnership that started clear back when we were in seminary together, as John alluded to. When you go to seminary, for those of you who haven't been to seminary, it can be kind of academia world there, where you're just, you're in your studies. But we sought out a group together kind of at the same time to have a time for prayer. And so we met together in a little funky little room that was in our family living quarters area. And we were about 3 or 4 of us that would meet together pretty regularly each week and have devotions, and we would sing. Pastor John would bring his guitar, and we would sing together. So I cherish those moments. And then knowing you through those seminary years, we overlapped. And then, of course, it was that first call theological education training that we went through that was a little bit, well, we won't go there.
You came late.
Yep.
You couldn't get in the dorm we were staying.
I came late one night, flew in, I don't know, at midnight or something, and took a taxi to this place up in San Francisco. And there's no way for me to get into these dormitories, so I had to throw a rock up into the window to get Pastor John to wake up. This is before the days of cell phones, Anyway, so we have those memories. One of my funniest remembrances that Pastor John and Kurt and I were a part of Kurt Lynn. You've seen pictures of me where I dressed up like a bum, and I went down to the beach down here where the 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, I think junior high, were all having, yeah, and they were having this. And the day before they were trying to figure out what are we going to do. And so I said, well, you know what? Let's talk about how God sees us. And we'll make this a teaching lesson for the kids. So I said, I'll show up, and you're teaching about how we shouldn't judge people from the outside. We should look at their inside, their heart. And so I dressed up like this bum, and I show up down at the beach. And of course, I put Pastor John and Kurt up this, but nobody else knew what was going to happen. Teachers didn't know, which in hindsight, we maybe should have let them know. And at least a few of the parents too. Anyway, I showed up and I was pretty incognito, I'd say. Nobody knew who I was. And I came up and I had this bum leg and I had this wig on. I had a scraggly beard I made, and I was dragging this, my foot, I had a stick, and then I went over, and the kids had their water bottles, on the cement piece by the sand and the beach, and they were there, Pastor Kurt and Pastor John were talking to them about this, And so I started picking up their water bottles and putting them in my plastic bag. And so Pastor John said, just a minute, kids, I need to go over and take care of this, you know. And he went over to me and started telling me, hey, you need to get out of here. We're a Christian school having a really nice talk here, and here you're interrupting us. And I said, hey, get away from me. This is where I live. I sleep on that bench over there. And then Pastor John came over at me, and he started grabbing my arm, and the kids thought, what is going on here? Pastor John, you're not preaching what you're teaching. You're not following what you're saying. And then I fall over, the water balls go all over the ground. I say, get away from me, you're hurting me. And then, of course, we told him who I really was. And then the story went on. So anyway, those are just some fond memories. So I leave with you today a farm story of all things. And it goes like this. Feed my sheep. Feed my sheep. Feed my sheep. There's anything better in ministry than feeding sheep, right? And that goes for all of you too. We're all sheep, right? I'm a sheep. You're a sheep. And we do ministry together. And that's what we do. We feed sheep. And I know you do it. And I pray you will continue to do it. It's been an honor to be a part of life with you. Whew. Okay, but there was one thing I'm super disappointed in, that you never did, and you never taught me how to surf. I felt so ostracized, so I have a gift for you today. Did you guys go get, okay, so we got a gift for you today to take with you, just so that, you know, someday, if I learn how to swim, I'm going to learn how to surf. Am I be in heaven above? I think surfing looks like so much fun when I see you out there. So we have a little gift for you today. And in case you didn't get a chance to sign the surfboard, I would like you to get a chance to do it. It looks like there's quite a few signatures on the back of it, but I think you might remember this surfboard, Pastor John. It hung over the youth boardroom. Remember we had the boardroom on it? So there it is.